Ladies and gentlemen, as we approach the yearly candle and monthly candle close in just 2 days here on Bitcoin, I'm giving you this video as a final warning, a final reminder of the importance of these closes, of the importance of the 42.2k level, and how it will very well determine the next macro move for Bitcoin. Will it be a correction? Will it be a pump further to the upside? That's what we'll be finding out in 2 days, but we need to understand the problem to its full extent today so we can react effectively tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. Before we start the video today, I want to make reference to the VIP sale we've got going on right now. We've got 2 days remaining on the VIP sale. We do not do sales very often. Our last sale was about 7 months ago. And on VIP group, we trade altcoins 4 times a week with entry requirements. We give you take profit requirements, stop loss requirements, everything you need to trade coins. We've been running this group for over a year now, I think close to a year and a half. We've got an 80.5% win rate. We've got a PDF on there with all of our trading results, fully transparent. Go ahead and check it out. Again, 2 days left in the VIP sale, running out of time to take advantage of that. So get into the VIP group if you're interested. The information will be in the description below. Guys, let's get into the content without further ado. Now, there's a reason why this video is called Final Warning, and it's not clickbait, right? It's actually very, very clearly a final warning on Bitcoin. We have 1 day and 20 hours until the very, very important monthly candle close, the very, very important first ever weekly candle golden cross we have ever seen in Bitcoin's entire price history, and also 1 day and 20 hours until the yearly candle close. So this will be my final video discussing these topics before these closes occur in 1 day and 20 hours, and so it is a final warning because these closes will determine, right, the next macro move, or do a very big job in determining at least the next macro move on Bitcoin, along with the ETF decision coming on January 10th. But these closes are big. We need to discuss them now. Let's start with the yearly candle, because this is the most straightforward one, and it's the one we're very likely to close quite well, okay? So what do I mean by well? I want you to be very clear about my context for saying the word good and bad in this video. When I say something is good, it means that it's abiding by the cyclical theory. I don't see good as synonymous with going upwards. I don't think it's good for Bitcoin to go too high too soon. I believe in the 4-year cycle. I believe that Bitcoin needs to be following a cyclical trend and go upwards when it is deemed necessary by the 4-year cycle, not just go to 100k in the next week. I don't think Bitcoin going to $100,000 by whatever, that's very unlikely to happen. It's basically impossible, right? But if Bitcoin went to $100,000 in a week from now, I don't think that would be a good thing, because I think we would be breaking the entire cyclical structure. And I know for a fact that profitability comes from predictability. And in order to have predictability, you need to have trends that back Bitcoin's price action, like the 4-year cycle. A random pump to 100k, believe it or not, actually wouldn't be that profitable for a lot of people. And that might sound ridiculous, but it wouldn't, because people wouldn't take profits, okay? And they wouldn't have a clue what's going on. You'd be gambling for the half the time, right? So we need predictability in order to have profitability. So starting with the yearly candle, closing in 1 day and 20 hours, we have a pretty big degree of predictability here, and it's going well, right? We have a 4-year cycle theory, quite easily identifiable on the yearly candle chart, with the halving at each one of these white lines in 2012, in 2016, in 2020. We've had all these halvings, and we have another one in 2024 next year. Those are the halvings. The halving starts a cycle. We have 1 bull market year, 1 bear market year, 2 accumulation years. Okay, on the second accumulation here, we see the halving, and the cycle starts once again. That's 4-year cycle. What you'll notice is that after the bear market year, so you have the bear market year here, and then you have the green candle that follows it. The green candle that follows the bear market year never encompasses the entirety of the bear market candle. We always close that green candle kind of halfway up, right? We did that in 2015, we did that in 2019, and unless we close this yearly candle above 46k, we will do that again this year. So we're doing very well on the yearly chart. The yearly chart candle is looking well, as long as we close the yearly candle below 46k, which is very, very, very likely at this point in time, since we're down there at 42. It's very unlikely we'll go that high over the next 2 days. The yearly candle close is great, and we have just formed, since we have 3 data points now, a trend on the yearly candle where the year after the bear market always closes below the open of the bear market candle. That's a trend that we can use for future predictability on Bitcoin. So that's great. Now that we get that out of the way, because it's the most simplistic one, we can get into things that actually are more pressing and actually matter a lot more. Okay, first and foremost, let's get into the monthly candle. I think this is the most important thing we are seeing on Bitcoin for obviously the rest of the year, because it's only 2 days, but more specifically, it's the most important thing we've been watching on Bitcoin for about 2 months now. For about 2 months, we've been looking at this monthly candle. Why have we been looking at it so much? We've been looking at it because of this. This is the Ichimoku Cloud baseline, okay? The baseline of the Ichimoku Cloud, as you can see right now, on the monthly candle chart in red. And what you'll see is this baseline has been absolutely fundamental, absolutely critical in predicting where Bitcoin rejects from, where it bounces from, when we're in a bear market, when we're in a bull market. What you can see is that before we entered the bull market here in 2012, we rejected twice from this Ichimoku Cloud baseline. We went above it. We saw months of explosion to the upside at 20x on Bitcoin. Once we got back down below it, we saw rejection for a couple months. We got above it once more. Only then did we start the actual first move, the Genesis bull run on Bitcoin, the first ever bull run Bitcoin ever saw in 2013 after the first halving. We then went below that level. We saw a bear market when we went below it. We got above it again. We saw the entirety of the 2017 bull market, went below it, saw the bear market, rejected from it in 2019, saw correction before the halving, got above it, saw the entirety of the 2021 bull market, bounced off it in the 2021 bull market correction. Once we lost it, that's when we entered the bear market, and right now we're testing it from the upside once again, from a downside once again, I should say. So all in all, I just said a lot of words very, very quickly, and with my Australian accent, I don't think many Americans understood what I just said, but what I will say is this. This Ichimoku Cloud baseline is very important. When you get above this level and close a monthly candle close above this level, you generally go upwards. When you go down below it, you generally go downwards. And what we have right now is testing it for resistance. We have 2 days until the monthly candle close, and we are currently 200 USDT below that level. So it's absolutely critical. We could very easily either jump up above it or stay down below it. Now, as I made clear on the yearly candle, I believe in the cyclical theory. I want the cyclical theory to work. I want the 4-year cycle to be true. Okay, it is true, but I want it to remain true. And what we have right now, this chart on the screen here shows us that the black line we're seeing right now, which is this current cycle, we have deviated a little bit too high. Okay, we have gone too high, a bit too quick on Bitcoin. It's nothing to be massively concerned about because we did the same thing in 2019. But what you'll notice is that in 2019, the top of that move upwards and what brought us back down to where we were meant to be at that part in the cycle was actually a rejection from the Ichimoku Cloud baseline right here. We deviated a little bit too high from where we were meant to be in the cyclical theory. We rejected from the Ichimoku Cloud baseline. We went back down to the mean, and then we went upwards on time after the halving. If we copy that, because we know we're a little bit too high right now, we know we've extended too high based on the ETF narratives mostly, right? People have been unwilling to sell their Bitcoin. Every single correction has just been bought upwards. People are unwilling to sell until they find out what happens with ETFs. And because of that, we've deviated a little bit too high. We're in need for a correction. And we saw the exact same correction at the exact same part of the cycle just before the halving in 2019. We very well could do it again from the same level, which is the Ichimoku Cloud baseline. So I actually want, I'll make this clear, I want Bitcoin to close this monthly candle below the Ichimoku Cloud baseline, and I want Bitcoin to correct downwards for a few months before the halving so it can go upwards and see a traditional bull market after the halving. That is what I want to see. But as you guys know, it doesn't really matter what I want, it matters what happens. And this is where we get into the next 1 day and 20 hours. It is absolutely important on Bitcoin, the next 1 day and 22 hours, because 1 day and 20 hours, sorry. Because if we close this monthly candle above the Ichimoku Cloud baseline, we are doing quite a lot to invalidate the scenario of a correction from this level, which would make the most sense, right, based on what we have on the screen right now. So the bulls, people who are bullish on Bitcoin, okay, as of the short-term bullish, medium-term bullish, they want Bitcoin to go upwards right now. You rarely want to be seeing a monthly candle close above that Ichimoku Cloud baseline, because if you do not, you're in big trouble and you're very likely to see a correction downwards. This is the importance of this monthly candle close. It's very, very important. It's very, very rare for Bitcoin to go above this level and then go back down below it immediately. It's happened once. It's not impossible, right? It happened here in 2014, 2013. Okay, it's not impossible, but it's very, very, very rare. If we close the Ichimoku Cloud base above the Ichimoku Cloud baseline, it's quite unlikely that Bitcoin will go back down below it in the following month. Except for the fact that ETFs are happening on January 10th, so there could be some jumbling up in the price action. Look, I have spoken about this so extensively, I don't want to repeat myself any further. As of right now, I think this video is probably best suited to speak about other topics, but I think the ETF decision is not guaranteed to lead to a short-term pump in the slightest. I've made myself very clear on that. I'm not saying it won't lead to a short-term pump. I'm saying it's not guaranteed to, because the ETFs are not releasing when the ETFs are approved. They released after they are approved, about a month after. So there will be no buying pressure coming in from ETFs. All the buying pressure will be strictly related to retail buying on the news or selling on the news. And obviously, retail has already bought for the most part. There's a reason we've gone upwards from 25k to 46k in a matter of a couple months, right? It's because retail's bought expecting the ETFs to be approved. So who is there left to buy? That's my question. I don't think many people are. So I'm not convinced at all that the ETF decision will lead to a short-term pump to the upside. I don't think it's impossible, but I'm certainly not convinced of it as a certainty. And for that reason, I do see a scenario in which Bitcoin closes the monthly candle close above this level, sees the ETF decision as sell the news event, and then closes back below it in the following month. That would be messy. It's very hard to predict something like that. It's kind of random. It's up to what happens with the market based on that news. But for the most part, we have to trust for TA. And the TA says that if Bitcoin closes the monthly candle above this level, that's very good. And if it closes below it, that's very bad. Not bad from a cyclical perspective. As I said, I'm bullish on Bitcoin and I want that to happen. I want to close below it, but bad from a short term, what's going to happen tomorrow perspective. Okay. So monthly candle close, very, very important. 1 day and 20 hours. We want to be closing below 42.2K to maximize cyclical predictability. And to bring us back on track for where we're meant to be at this part in the cycle as per this chart. But if we close above it, that's very interesting as well. So lots to discuss when that occurs. So that's number two. Number one, let's recap a little bit. Number one, yearly candle close. It looks very good. It's very unlikely we do anything bad there. We're going to close below where we opened the last yearly candle. We're on track with that regard. The big question is the monthly candle. That correction, a significant macro correction could occur if we reject below this level. And I think we need that personally, but it's very important to watch that because it's a very critical level, a very critical line. And now the third thing is the Ichimoku cloud. The third thing is the golden cross on the weekly chart. So first ever golden cross on the weekly chart. What does this mean for Bitcoin? Well, obviously, golden crosses occur when you see the 200-week SMA closing underneath the 50-week SMA. It doesn't have to be a weekly chart. It can be any chart, but this is the first time on the weekly chart. Now, we've never seen this before in the entire price history of Bitcoin, so it's actually very difficult, if I'm just being completely honest with you, to expect what's going to happen here. We know, generally speaking, they are bullish things. We know, generally speaking, golden crosses are bullish. We know, generally speaking, death crosses are bearish. We saw a death cross on Bitcoin weekly chart in February 2023. Never seen a golden cross yet, so we can expect it to be bullish, I suppose, on a long-term scale. The thing about the weekly chart, though, is the weekly chart is quite a diluted viewpoint to look at Bitcoin. We can very well see a golden cross on Bitcoin weekly chart and see weeks of correction before that golden cross has effect. Alternatively, it could just be a big scam, a big fake out, because everyone could be expecting it to be bullish. Therefore, people could have been buying right from 25K on the expectation, the anticipation of the golden cross, just like the ETF decision, and when it actually occurs, Bitcoin could very well drop. So the point I'm making is, yes, generally speaking, these things are generally bullish from a TA perspective, but given the fact that the weekly chart is a diluted point of view to look at Bitcoin from, and given the fact that we've already seen such a huge rally in the lead up to this golden cross, which perhaps could have been in anticipation for the golden cross, as well as the ETFs, when it actually occurs, we could just see a drop because there could be no one left to buy, right? This is the thing about Bitcoin right now that people aren't understanding properly, I don't think. We have seen a dramatic move to the upside, a dramatic move, a move of 80% without any significant correction whatsoever. There's genuinely not been any single significant correction in this entire move for a 3.5 month period, okay? Expecting further upside moves from that based on TA is a bit of a ridiculous thing. Because first of all, if you're basing your decision to expect further upside moves on TA, you're ignoring the fact that the vast majority of the TAs is representing massive exhaustion right now, huge bearish divergence lasting 2 months, rejection from a red line on the daily chart RSI that we haven't broken above since like 2017. Volume is massively low considering the strength of this upwards trend, right? We've been seeing descending volume, lower highs in the volume since November, right? It's late December now, going into January. Right, we've seen a double top formation forming. We've got indications that we are overbought for this part of the cycle forming. We've got a very clear narrative structure that has built this move upwards, ETFs. To act like, I'm trusting the golden cross, therefore I think Bitcoin's going to go upwards because I trust TA. To act like that's the whole story is ridiculous. So what do I think about the golden cross? Let me be very clear about the golden cross. I don't know what it's going to do. No one does. We've never seen it before. We know that Bitcoin's seen a massive moves potentially in anticipation for golden cross. Could be a sell the news event. We also know that looking at something like the 3-day chart golden crosses, they don't work sometimes. In fact, the last golden cross we saw on the 3-day chart was a complete failure. In fact, we dropped days after seeing it, right? Yeah, they work sometimes as well. For example, we saw a def cross here. It worked technically, but it also, if we're being very specific about this, the def cross we saw wasn't really the reason for the drop. It was kind of a result of the drop. We saw an ascending channel formation here. That's why we dropped downwards, and we were in a cyclical bear market. The def cross only occurred because of the price action that was developing because of that cyclical bear market. So I don't like the obsession with moving average crosses to begin with, but especially with this weekly chart moving average cross. Yes, it's the first time in history Bitcoin's ever seen this. Yes, it's important to watch what will happen, but there's so many nuances to it right now, given the unique market circumstances in the last few weeks. So we do also have a very good example of what Bitcoin will do if we are to see a rejection from this monthly candle Ichimoku Cloud baseline, but we'll discuss that if it occurs. We have this chart here to look at. We also have the weekly chart RSI to look at. Very important things to look at there. Essentially, we'll be trending downwards towards this weekly chart RSI level, and essentially we will probably be trending sideways for the most part on macro for 200 days, going down to something like 38.5k or even 32k. That is if we see a monthly chart close below the Ichimoku Cloud baseline. But I want to make something very clear as well. I personally will not be buying and selling Bitcoin before the ETF decision. I've already got a Bitcoin bag, average price down there in the 20Ks. I will not be making a move on Bitcoin, any further moves on Bitcoin on a long-term scale until the ETF decision. I want to see what happens there. My reasoning for that is very clear. I made the reasoning quite clear yesterday. Go ahead and check out yesterday's video. I timestamped the point in which I made my opinion on that clear, but we'll discuss that more after the close. So 3 things to watch: monthly chart, yearly chart, which is actually quite straightforward, and then the weekly chart and the golden crosses result. But most importantly, the most important thing is the monthly candle close. Will we close above this Ichimoku Cloud baseline or not? That is the most important thing you can possibly watch on Bitcoin for the remainder of 2023, and it has been for about a month or 2 months now. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please go ahead and check out the Bingx and Bitget exchange. If you need an exchange to buy and sell cryptocurrency on, which everyone does, these exchanges are the ones for you. Bingx is global non-KYC, and then Bitget is global KYC minus the United States of America. So go ahead and check them out. The referral links are below. With the referral links, you can get a 15% trading fee discount for life and exclusive access to Reward Center, in which you can gain thousands of dollars in USDT rewards for free by completing various tasks. None of these exchanges have been hacked. They're both handpicked by myself. Again, referral links down below. We then have the Crypto Academy Become a Trader course. If you want to learn how to do TA like I've done in this video, all you need to do is do this course, because all of the information I discussed in this video was using methods of TA that we discuss in this course. So learn TA, join the Become a Trader course. The website link is down below. You can read up all about it. We've got a bio here. We've got the unit topics listed on the website. We've got who made the course, myself and Mega Well Crypto, and then we've got the email address. So check that out. And finally, of course, VIP sale ending in 2 days. We discussed at the start of the video. Please check it out. This will be your last chance to get a sale on VIP for potentially up to 6 months. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will catch you in my next video.